Zero.
Okay. Start. Friends, today let us learn about folic acid. Folic acid is a water soluble vitamin which is actually named as folacin, folate by different names. Today let's learn about the structure, functions, absorption, transport, and biochemical utilization of folic acid. So, as I said, folic acid is also known as Williams factor. In 1933, um, it was identified to bring about some curative effects in the deficiency states in man as well as in different experimental animals. In 1934, Wills showed that folic acid can cure macrocytic anemia, and that's why it was named as Wills factor, and it cured the um, macrocytic anemia, and it was found to be isolated from the autolyzed yeast extract. Folate was actually isolated in 1946 from liver, and it was effective in curing macrocytic anemia. Coming to the structure of folic acid is derived from a leaf, mainly the leafy vegetable spinach, and it was named as folium, and it is mainly consists of three components, namely the pteridine ring, the PABA para-aminobenzoic acid, and glutamic acid residue. It is actually together known as pteroyl glutamic acid. So here in this structure, this pteridine ring is linked to para-aminobenzoic acid and glutamic acid, and together it is known as pteroyl glutamic acid. It is slightly soluble in water and it is stable to heat at neutral pH, and it is actually sterilized by heating at 120 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. Coming to the functions, folate has got a number of role to play in our body. It is very important and essential for our growth and for cell division. It works along with vitamin B12 in the transmethylation of homocysteine to methionine, and it also helps to cure anemia. That is where it helps in the development of RBCs. So during the development of RBCs, folate is very much needed for it to grow and mature. So when there is any insult to the deficiency of folate, it will result in macrocytic anemia, and the cells will jump as mega sized into the blood, and the cell number is less, and that is why it leads to this type of anemia. Okay, so it is mainly needed for the development of RBCs during the maturation stage. Then it helps to produce DNA, the building blocks of human body, which is needed for carrying our genetic information. It is also needed for the synthesis of purine and pyrimidine, and mainly these are the bases which are needed for synthesis of RNA and DNA, and it is also needed for the conversion of phenylalanine to another amino acid, tyrosine. Then coming to the metabolism of folic acid, folate present in the food as polyglutamate. So this actually exists in 3 to 7 glutamate residual states, and this polyglutamate will not be absorbed as such, and it has to be hydrolyzed before absorption. So this pteroyl glutamate is the form in which it is present in the food, and it is not actually absorbed in the intestine. It requires many conjugates for hydrolyzing it into a simple form. So we have a conjugase called the gamma glutamate carboxypeptidase. This is actually a zinc dependent enzyme. Whenever there is any zinc deficiency, the enzyme is not actually produced in adequate amounts, therefore it will hinder in the digestion of folate. So here in this figure you can see through the diet we are taking the folate in the form of polyglutamate form, and it has to be hydrolyzed in the intestinal mucosa to monoglutamate form. So for converting it into monoglutamate form, we need an enzyme called conjugase. This conjugase enzyme is mainly produced by the pancreatic and bile juices, and also some enzymes are present in the jejunal mucosa for favoring the absorption and hydrolysis of folate. So it is absorbed at low pH around 5, and it enters into the blood in the form of tetrahydrofolate after methylation at the fifth position to form 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, and there it combines with a protein, and it is transported in the blood in the form of FBP, folate bound protein, to different tissues. Okay. Coming to the absorption, as I said, this monoglutamyl form of folic acid is absorbed from the intestine, and we need the enzyme conjugases, which are mainly present, as I said, in the duodenum and jejunum. And the mucosal uptake and metabolism happens in the mucosal cells, and the folate monoglutamate is taken up by the mucosal cell, and in the mucosal cell, the monoglutamate is reduced to THF, that is tetrahydrofolate, and further it is methylated in the fifth position to form N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate. So N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate is the form in which it enters into the circulation. Coming to the transportation, once absorbed into the intestinal cells, folate is transported in the blood to the cells of the body. So, and then the excess gets stored in the liver. So the main form in which folate is transported is actually the methylated form. In the fifth position, it is methylated N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate. On reaching the target cells, the folate transports into the cell with the help of a carrier. It is a carrier mediated transport, and it does not require any ATP for its transport. So after entering into the target cell, it is again converted to the polyglutamate form. These are some of the active forms of folate. The active forms of folate are tetrahydrofolate, N5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, then N5-N10-methyl tetrahydrofolate, N10-formyl tetrahydrofolate, and 4-imino tetrahydrofolate. So these are some of the active forms of folate. See, the coenzymes of folic acids are actually involved in the metabolism. Mainly, it acts as an acceptor or donor of one carbon atom, and the one carbon atom carbon units bind with the tetrahydrofolate at the N5th and N10th position, or on both N5 and N10 of its toroidal structure. The folate is mainly stored in the liver, I said, and the total body folate ranges from about 5 to 10 milligrams, and our human beings usually excrete about 9 micrograms in the urine, and in the feces 40 micrograms in the urine, and about 200 micrograms are excreted in the feces. Hope you all understood about the metabolism of folic acid, its absorption, how it is being transported, and the functions. Thank you.